What's going on, main characters? It's your boy Talks Too Much with Third Party Studios. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are talking about Rachel Zegler and the new Disney Snow White film. Wow, crazy opening weekend. We had a lot to talk about, so we're going to jump right into it. But if you guys aren't aware, we do have the podcast going every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Central. I hope you guys will come hang out with us and tune into that content. With that out of the way, let's jump right into it. Hold on, intro. It's intro time. Shush, everyone shut up. All right, we should probably jump into our first story. Yeah. All right, guys, it's actually a big one. This week we had Snow White released. It came out on Thursday, so a little bit earlier than where we are now. And Snow White's opening weekend worse than Marvel's Thursday premiere box office. Legacy Media is scrambling to spin it. That's the article from that Park Place. I'm not at all surprised that it did this poorly. I thought it was maybe even going to do a little worse. I thought, especially like you were able to see the like there was a few articles that were posting on X the seat selection on their local theaters where all of the screenings were just empty. There was maybe like 2 people in the theater. I thought this was going to just be dead. I thought it was gonna be like War of the Rohirrim dead.
So like did Disney just drop this movie? Because I haven't heard a thing about it.
Oh no, yeah, oh right. So it's been super quiet on the no news has been out about this.
It's like all of a sudden they just drop a track.
Exactly. Like out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's not like we've, everyone in the world's been covering this for the past 2 years and that the shit show surrounding this movie is more enticing and more popular than the movie itself. Like we don't give a fuck. No one gives a fuck about the movie.
Well, and you actually made the point last week, I think, on the same topic. No one is asking for more live-action remakes. Like, no one wants more live-action remakes. This isn't a growing field for you, but I do think it's...
Oh, Lilo and Stitch is coming up, so...
Lilo and Stitch, yep, there's that. There's the Mufasa the Lion King actually made profit, or they made money on Mufasa.
Can we talk about these assholes that go and make these movies profitable?
Yes.
Because the only reason
like the fans actually, are we just shit on fandom?
We're gonna shit on normies.
We're gonna shit on
hardcore.
Normies. Okay.
Because the only reason they
quiz on.
The only reason they keep making these fucking live actions and everyone across the board says they all suck ass. They all make money because you fucks keep going to it. So they're like, all right, what's the next fucking Disney memory from your childhood that we can ruin?
Yeah, it invites the chaos. Like it's
who the fuck went to see Mufasa? No one that I know went to it.
I don't know anyone personally who went to it either. But like you do have Mufasa is made for adults who have kids who want to introduce them to Lion King. And
no, it's not.
Well, yes, it is. Yeah.
No, because if you're introducing your kids to Lion King, say they were born in fucking the 2010s, you'd be like, all right, well, let's see this live action Lion King, which came out in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
This Mufasa was for no one.
Right. Okay. I think I see your point. I see your point. I mean, when it comes to the theaters, Mufasa was being beaten out over the holidays by Sonic 3. And then Disney comes in and it was reported that Disney was actually forcing theaters to take Sonic off of extra screens and replace it with Mufasa. So Disney was even leveraging...
Yeah, Sonic was getting screwed by Disney.
Hard. And they still did good.
They still did awesome. And they're not in the theaters that long. Apparently Mufasa was in theaters for God knows how fucking long.
A long time.
And it made $717 million.
Yeah,
so it eked out a profit.
Eked out. Well, and then I wonder how much extra they had to pay to get those theaters to do that, if it offsets anything, because that wouldn't be reported until tax season 2026.
I mean, that's where the good comes in, where you're keeping theaters afloat because of shit like this. But, well, I mean, dude, they keep making money with these live actions, and no one likes the live actions.
I agree. I don't even think the families, I think the kids don't even, I mean, the kids definitely don't like them. I mean, kids compare like Mufasa to Sonic and it's not even close. The only thing is now that Mufasa actually did make something, they're justified in doing more spin-offs and more Lion King, which for me, I freaking hate that. I think I hate that more than you do. Because you got, I mean, Lion King was the first film I ever saw. Like I love that movie. I love The Lion King.
Yeah, I mean, it came out when I was born, but I was never a big fan. I mean, it's Hamlet.
It's Hamlet, but with
Or no.
lions. That's better.
Is it Hamlet? Yeah.
It is Hamlet. Yeah. So with the box office release being this poor, they're not set to make money. And honestly, the biggest thing to consider with this is even if the budget for the movie was announced and we had a lot, like a whole complete idea of how much it cost to make this film, they have spent a ridiculous sum of money with PR. They hired specialty PR teams. Rachel Zegler had to hire a special PR team. So did Gal Gadot. They both have, like, everyone has been hiring PR teams, making them rich.
And they've been advertising it for 2 years.
Exactly. And it's Snow White. It's not even like
Snow Latina.
not Latina. Latinx. Latinx.
And there goes our whole Latino.
Well, but here's the thing, like, do you remember Wish? Wish was supposed to be the 1 year or the 100-year, the centennial anniversary for Disney, and they didn't even promote that movie as hard as they promoted Disney or Snow White.
Well, Snow White actually, it didn't get promoted that hard. It was just all the PR bullshit around it that lasted for 2 years.
Well, no, you did have CNN coming out and talking about it. You had a lot of
I'm talking about like them spending like money on
marketing
and whatnot. It's been in the zeitgeist in the PR nightmare that's been for 2 years because of Rachel Zegler's stupid comments and blah, blah, blah. And then.
Well, but then you also have the trailers that they put out. Do you remember the trailer they hid inside of, like, they just released the trailer inside of a theater screening instead of actually putting it on anything? That was actually one of the first trailer that came out for Snow White was actually, they put it in theaters. It was one of the previews in theaters rather than coming out on on YouTube or anywhere else. And then it started to hit the internet, and then Disney puts it out eventually. But the first viewing of that was caught on like someone's camera when they just recorded it inside of the theater, posted it on X. It was.
How do I not remember that?
I don't know how you don't remember it because we did pull it up and
maybe
talked
it's
about
like a Mandela effect, or we're just in different timelines.
Yeah, because I'm running and you're standing still.
Yeah, back to your shitty fucking
my horrible anecdote story.
There is good news though when it comes to remakes. Is Mulan's remake made $70 million?
That's not a lot relative to.
That's losing like 130.
Oh, okay. that's yeah. Well, I mean, Disney, it's not like they've...
Which is my favorite, like, Disney movies. Like, if Mulan, the remake, lost money, so fucking happy, because Mulan is one of my favorites.
One thing that could be contributing to the normie factor for how these movies are getting money is kids. They are kids' films.
Well, you go by YouTube, like YouTube Kids or whatever.
Yeah.
They get the most views. They make the most money off of advertising, all that shit. Anything like, because they want to, like any movie or whatever, like let's say Deadpool or whatever, they want to make it PG-13, just so it's got basically the more like PG-13, PG or G or whatever, the lower you get, the more basically like eyes you can get on it, and
right?
Like advertising.
I think the rating system is outdated. I think it's fallen out of. I think it's fallen out of trend.
You only
with
can say fuck once in PG-13,
right? And then you got like toddlers basically yelling the N-word down the street.
Right.
It's
way out of date.
It's like it's out of pocket. It's pretty crazy. So
I was even called an N-word by a 5-year-old the other day.
That's funny. And you're not even black.
Yeah, that's what
you guys can't tell at home, but he's not. You never know.
The guy that's been claiming ginger for the past.
Yeah, we've been saying it. It's we've been lying. Somehow, so Snow White bombed out worse than the Marvels, which was horrible. We went and did the review for the Marvels, and didn't that movie break 100 million? Like,
I think it grossed 200 tops.
Yeah, it was some ridiculously low number. It bombed out hard, and now you got this movie set to do the same thing. Do you think? Okay,
I don't know, man.
On the north,
like I was saying, Mufasa, it was shit when it came out and was doing horrible, and then just through time made 700 and whatever million dollars. This one could be the same thing where it's just like we're only gonna make like $28 million this opening weekend, but then it just keeps on fucking going.
Well, here's Mufasa has a few things going for it that Snow White does not. Snow White, from all the reviews I'm seeing, and we have not done our own review. We have not seen it in theaters. We don't intend to. We're just keeping up with the news. We're keeping up with current events, reading the audience feedback and Rotten Tomatoes reviews. And from what we know is that the movie is plagued by a very, very long and complete set of music. Like, this movie is filled with music as like a strong musical. And that got overwhelming to a lot of the audience reviews. And so Mufasa has songs, but it's not like it's not like one full musical movie. You understand what I'm saying with that? Like, it's not.
I don't think it being like severely a musical like would be a detriment because, well,
it is if the gaps between it are too small.
Yeah, I was gonna compare it to Wicked, where Wicked's just one big musical, but apparently Wicked was actually good.
It's more Wicked than Frozen, so it's closer to Wicked on the sense of like how much music is being done perpetually through the film versus Frozen, which is you have these one-off amazing songs and then you have like scenes upon scenes in between them, dividing it up. So that's what this movie is lacking. I don't think this movie has anything that will interest the like Gen Z Gen Z kids or anything like that.
Well, it doesn't have any of the what would you say?
Anything good?
Well, that, but like
doesn't even have
the message behind it. Like
right.
Snow White, obviously, yeah, it's a bit of its time, whereas it's made in 1937. But this one's all about socialism, basically.
Girl power boss mode.
It's not even like girl power boss mode. I mean, that is a part of it. But it's like even the BBC, the most fucking like left-leaning thing there is out there, was like, this is a movie where it's like trying to pay homage to the original and also trying to be like a blowhorn for like, come here, socialists, we got you kind of thing.
And that's the BBC calling it out. That's crazy, man. Critics, here's the thing. We have Rotten Tomatoes. We'll pull that up, actually. Let's jump over to the Rotten Tomatoes on it, because the critics came out with their reviews right away. And so we knew that out of the early days of the release of Snow White, that 44% from the critics was an insanely low number.
There is like kind of a caveat when it goes with Snow White, because they pulled their opening weekend in the UK. And then they just had kind of like some paid journalists and whatnot that just reviewed it. And the embargo, in order to review this movie, only dropped 24 hours before the movie released in theaters.
So but we would expect to see more positive reviews then.
Well, that was the original jaunt that you got in like one day. And there's like a bunch of shields coming out, and you'd be like, it's actually not that bad, kind of thing.
Well, and 70% is nothing to write, or 71% from the audience score is nothing to write home about. It's not like an amazing score, but it is far higher than the critic score would lead you to think that the movie could be. There was nothing about this that made me think this movie was going to appeal to anybody. So I didn't think families were really going to be in on it. I didn't think kids were going to be like, let's go see Snow White. I didn't think kids were. I mean, when was the last Snow White IP project of any kind that would interest a kid?
None that I could think
Nearly
of,
a century ago?
Yeah, I don't know. Snow White's been... apparently, there's a lot of iterations of Snow White. That just, like, I'm not aware of, obviously, because I'm not in the zeitgeist of fucking fairy tales, but...
You mean like history? You mean like old...
Throughout since, like, 1937, there's been a shitload of iterations that...
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it either. I just heard like the FNT crew talk about it.
Okay. Well, let's read some of the audience scores and critic scores real quick.
Gotta read the audience scores because I don't know how it's at 71.
All right, let's try to see if we can find some. Let's go to the audience reviews and let's try to find some high scores. Well, hold on. So there's how many hundreds? I think there was like 250 audience scores. 235 audience scores, and we've got from today 1 star verified, today 1 half star, 2.5. The only good thing is Gal is
He's just in it for dominatrix Gal Gadot.
Well, we're all in it for that. Then we got, it's a shame that they destroy the essence of the original film in this way. The actress is too conceited. That, yeah, okay. Half score, half
Well, it's
score.
like, how much do you think Rachel Zegler, who plays Snow White, how much do you think her comments and whatnot outside of the film is going to affect the film?
I think families are not paying attention.
I agree.
So I think that
The more and more I learn about normies, it's like I was way off base towards like how much they actually pay attention. Don't.
They pay zero attention at all. It's basically just people who want to save money and don't want to like waste it on projects that that literally call them sexist and racist for not wanting to go see them. That's the stuff I don't.
A family, are you willing to spend like damn near $100 to go see this thing?
That's the question, isn't it?
Like,
It's like
between you and me, it's like fucking
50
to $70. That's two people.
It's ridiculous. I mean, snacks are a part of that, but a big part of that. But
well, yeah,
the movie itself,
no one's going to the theater and not getting snacks or
Right.
smuggling snacks in.
Right. So we got another 1 star, another half star, a 2 star. Okay, Snow White isn't necessarily a poisoned apple, but it's fairly untidy corporate redux of Disney's original animated classic. I like that one. That's at least
The X is silent, by the way.
Redo. Redo. Corporate Redo. We got a 3 out of 5 verified. Not true to the original movie. Overall good movie with great music. Chris Gore did say that Rachel Zegler's voice and her singing was good. He did say that. So
everyone's saying that Rachel isn't the worst thing about this movie.
That's fair enough.
Like, her acting's better than Gal, which not really that surprising. Gal doesn't really. She's just there to look pretty.
She is a beautiful face on the screen. She's not like a presence or like someone who really has super charisma for like the character she portrays.
Yeah.
Just a friendly reminder, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel if you are new. It is free. It's the best way to show your support and to help us grow. You can also always change your mind later. And if you haven't already, smash that like button to help us reach further out into that YouTube algorithm. Comment your thoughts on the video so far below. And if you haven't already, go check out the merch store. Links in the description. Got a lot of cool stuff in there. I think you guys are really going to enjoy. With that out of the way, let's get back to the video. She basically just Gal Gadot wherever she's standing in whatever movie she's in. It's not like she's playing the character well. You're just a lady. Just a lady. We got another half star. Weird. Snow White is not the fairest of them all. That one feels fake to me. That one feels like someone who didn't watch it.
Oh, BT Dubs. They didn't know what to do with the term fairest.
That's
because it means fairest as in like the most beautiful to the evil queen, but fairest to Snow White basically means like
I think it means
communism, as in like
equity and stuff. Yeah. Well,
so they were very inconsistent throughout the movie with what that even fucking meant.
Well, in Lord of the Rings, Tolkien is pretty consistent about fair meaning like white skinned, like fair skinned is the reference, like light skinned. Well, like that's what his references. That's what his consistent references were to that.
Well, I mean, yeah, back at like because like the original came out in 1937, Tolkien was writing Lord of the Rings in like the 1930s. I think it came out in the 1930s, something like that.
I can't remember. I knew this once upon a time. Keep going with your point. Keep going though.
But yeah, I mean, people just the use of the word fair basically was regarding your skin.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's like
now it's communism.
And the person's called Snow White.
Yeah, it's literally white.
White as snow.
Little white.
She's white.
Rachel White. We got a 5-star here, not a verified, and so it offsets one of the negatives. I generally dislike these remakes here. Oh, this is a long review. Not that long. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. Okay, actually.
Jeez. Lord Farquaad.
All right, so I generally dislike these remakes: Cinderella, The Lion King, Maleficent. I sort of gave up on them, but I got pulled into Snow White by the promise of new songs, and to my surprise, it was really good. The story is crafted well, none of the plot holes, illogical moments like the other remakes. The songs are really good, and then he references to one of the songs. I really enjoyed seeing a new take on the story that honored the original and left me wondering what would happen. He misspelled. It don't replace the original, but I enjoyed it very much. I will be seeing it again. So again, that reads very hard like someone who's not seen it.
Yeah, the promise of new songs is what got you.
Yeah, that's
And a 5 out of 5, by the way, is
perfect
better-
score.
Yeah, it's better than The Godfather Part 2.
Yeah, exactly. This movie is not.
If you're putting 5 stars on basically anything randomly, you're just kind of trying to like reset the equation of like all this bullshit. It's basically like positive review bombing.
Yeah, and those people are the worst, and they're fat and ugly. Terrible.
Redditor mods.
Okay, we got 2 verified ones towards the bottom here. One's a 3-star, one's a 1-star. This movie isn't match what. God damn it, guys! It's one sentence. Can't you fucking type?
The story isn't match what was the book and singing all day. Kind of boring.
3 stars. Thanks, Brittany.
Your fucking sentence is half a star.
The movie's portrayal of Snow White's classic story was made very poorly. Simple, concise, 1 star. I love it. Okay, we get the point.
But yeah, how is it up to 70%? Because we only saw what 2 or 3 that would make it over a positive.
There's a reasonable amount of 3s in here, a couple of 5 stars. It looks like
All right, let's see Danielle. Absolutely love this remake, which more than aptly stands up to the 37 classic, a perfect and very necessary reflection on courage, character, and kindness in a moment and climate these people suck.
Entirely bereft of all 3. Zegler's magical voice elevates this beloved tale tremendously. Gal Gadot's stunning turn as the evil queen is the performance to be celebrated and remembered. Kudos all around. Well done, Disney, as usual. White power signal. That's
I forgot about that.
I thought that's what it was now.
Yeah.
That's not. I didn't.
The okay sign just meant white power.
Yeah, that's not what I said. Verified. 5-star. Movie was
amazing. The queen's dresses are spectacular. All right, you're just in it for the fucking.
Another verified. Great music, although it sounds like most of the other Disney live action movies. We enjoyed it.
Who's we?
I don't know.
You're supposed to be talking for yourself.
4.5 stars. Loved it, especially all the singing. Jesus. Verified 1 star. This movie's portrayal of Snow White's classic story was made very poorly. That's a copy. That's a copy and paste. That's the exact same one from earlier.
Well, so I'm getting is that these people just go to see a music video.
That's a fair take on this, I think.
Story doesn't mean shit. It's like, it had bangers in it.
The other articles that we had to look at here with Snow White are Snow White bombs on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics rip apart Disney's latest remake starring Rachel Zegler despite early hype. So while the audience may have some mixed reviews, getting it up to that would be a D, and if we were going by letter grade,
it would be just above failing.
It'd be just above failing, 1%,
according to our grading system.
Yeah,
that we grew up with,
the best grading system.
Not the inner cities grading system, where a 50% is still passing.
Yeah, exactly. You got a half, right? That's kind of like a coin. Yeah. I didn't expect the critics to go as hard on this as they did. They really called it out, and most of the feedback that they were promoting was too much singing. Even though Rachel Zegler did a good job with the singing, Gal Gadot's performance was flat. The movie was not flooded with messaging, but it was flooded with exposition, so really bad storytelling aspects of it. The way that they did it was not honestly a memorable one to what's going on, Aslam? Thanks for being in the chat, buddy. Appreciate it.
Well, you just had a stroke right there.
No, he's hanging out. But yeah, it wasn't an honest retake, and a lot of people were like, we read a few of them. They called out the dress, Gal Gadot's dress, and others like costumes.
Costume design and singing. That's basically the only thing that people are like, oh, it's a 5 out of 5.
Well, then you
just look great.
Well, the critic scores were like, the costumes suck. They're all super flashy, flamboyant for like a medieval-esque setting. It's like everything's way too freaking colorful. No one can afford color and everything.
According to like if you want to do this like historically, it takes place in feudal fucking like Germany. So
So it's
I mean, they are known for their flashy fits, especially in the 40s.
Exactly. So actually, the Rotten Tomato score got lower after this article got posted. So 49% was the Rotten Tomatoes critic score. It's now down to 47 with double the reviews.
Well, do you think so like historically critics have always been like very generous when it comes to movies and giving it praise and whatnot, and the audience score has always been more like
Critical.
realistic. Do you think they caught on to that and they're just like, all right, well, let's inflate the audience score?
I think there's more people. I think that the people who like really wanted to see this film, I think we have a. Oh, how am I trying to say this? I think the issue with how accurate these reviews are going to be depends on who is going to see it. You and I would typically go and see a movie like this to review it and give as honest of a take on it as we possibly could. That would be typical. We sat this one out. I think a lot of people who are critical are sitting it out. I think a lot of people who are favorable are sitting it out. I think Snow White is 100 years past relevancy, and I think that is not a major story to be told. I think everyone is tired of live actions, and I think a lot of critics in here are maybe pissed off they had to go see it. That's what I would expect. I mean,
Spiteful.
I would be like we opted out of this one. We have a lot of reviews on the schedule for this year that we're looking forward to doing. This is not one of them.
Critics are like, fuck, and then we got Lilo and Stitch coming out too.
But I will say a lot of the audience reviews looked fake. A lot of them, the negatives and the positives.
Well, the 5 stars were just like, I enjoyed the tunes.
Right. I mean, at least the half stars had something specific they were pissed about or saying badly. So at least there was a little bit of creativity to them. But the 5 stars, you're right. It's just music's great. I love it.
I love it.
I love spending $70 to go watch a concert.
Lord Farquaad looked great in that dress.
Let's see. There are more articles to be pulled here, and in fact, we got to talk about that.
Apparently, the CGI for the dwarves is like appalling.
That's what I'm hearing too. Yeah, the CGI for the dwarves is so bad that everyone is criticizing it. You had voice actors who were dwarves for the dwarves. How stupid! Like you could.
I want to call it a redundancy, but it's not really. It's more of like taking like. What's the word for it? It's like a long...
It's almost irony.
Yeah.
It's almost irony.
It's like, well, you could have just hired him to play that.
Exactly.
And 6 others.
You know, the interesting thing about this is that while Disney promotes themselves as this incredibly diverse and very open-minded to everything, they believe in equity, they had 7 fantastic roles for little people, and they just chose to do CGI and spend so much more. These are like in a major production, this would have been amazing to start off a lot of careers for dwarf actors. I mean, for all 8 of them.
8?
If there's even that many.
I mean, there was one with the group of what outlaws, I think they call them or whatever in this fucking show. But yeah, it's like
Oh, merry man. Sorry, go ahead.
Like who obviously comes to mind when you think of a dwarf actor?
I can't remember his name. It's the guy from Austin Powers who plays Mini-Me.
The fuck was his name?
You right? But Peter Dinklage is obviously the king of little people. So he just got, honestly, it could have, like, whoever got the role of Tyrion, if they did a medium job or a good job with him, they like that person would be the one. But then you had Peter Dinklage gets Game of Thrones. Then he gets the dwarf in Infinity War, both major productions to put him in front of 1 billion people. So I mean, he's going to be the most famous.
Who's the goblin in Harry Potter?
Dobby?
No, that's a house elf.
The goblin in Harry Potter.
What the fuck? Who played him?
Oh,
again?
who played the? Okay, I know. I catch your meaning.
He's been in so many things. Oh, what the hell was it?
We are really showing our love for little people in this segment right now. Like we obviously care a lot, so we know. But I mean, it is bullshit. We're just calling out the hypocrisy, and honestly, it would have been better than the CGI by a lot. I don't think you could put actors who would have done a worse job. So, but here's what we got from this story: is dwarf actors plan protest outside Disney Studios over. Come on,
it's the most adorable protest ever.
Yeah, outside Disney Studios over Snow White exclusion. Does Disney's commitment to inclusion end at little people? Okay.
Warwick Davis has been in so much shit. He's an icon. I don't know why I can remember his fucking name.
Because you hate little people. You're a height supremacist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Science.
But like we're not gonna have. So you're excluding dwarves. I'll be nice to like go up in Hollywood and have these roles because like what other fucking roles are they gonna have?
Right.
And you're excluding like another great Warwick Davis or someone coming in to where, I mean, he played Ewoks. He was in Leprechaun. He was in Harry Potter. He was also in what's that shitty show that they remade from a movie?
I got nothing.
Prime.
On Prime, remake from a movie.
Is
You'll get there. Come on.
not Wheel of Time, but
Not Wheel of Time, not Rings of Power, Expanse, not
God, my mind is fucked right now.
You're scuffed, dude. We're both a little scuffed today. This is
I
rough.
guess so.
Let's just keep going with the stories. So in the article they asked the question, how did we get here? And the controversy spans back to Peter Dinklage, who made the comments that like the inclusion of dwarves was backwards, and that they like his criticism basically was one of the things that pushed Disney to doing this over hiring dwarf actors for the positions.
Well, I think I'll give Disney, I wouldn't say the benefit of the doubt, but I think they claimed from the get-go when they first announced this movie that they wanted the dwarves to be more like magical creatures, and the plan was always to CGI them.
That tracks. I mean, they were gonna. I mean, the amount of CGI Disney loves CGI. But I saw a short the other day about in the original Transformers Michael Bay film. They had CGI in that. That was the early 2000s CGI we got, and now we have this.
That's been going around in the YouTube short like algorithm to where it's like we went from this in 2007. Michael Bay's Transformers to like say recent movie with whatever CGI. It's like how are we moving backwards so fast when it comes to CGI?
Well, and Michael Bay didn't have. I mean, Michael Bay had a lot of explosions and special effects, but he didn't. I mean, he also had a mix of practical effects built into the film too. But
most of the explosions are practical.
Yeah, but I mean,
he likes the boom.
It's not like there was a small amount of CGI in that film, so. Maybe
but there was this discussion to where it's like, you know how we lose knowledge throughout history, you know, time passes, people forget about certain things that we've already learned or whatnot.
Yeah.
Same thing is happening in the
entertainment
special
industry.
Effects department to where it's like, people don't even know how certain things were animated in the original Snow White. We're like, we've lost that knowledge already.
It's drawn. That's the answer. It was drawn. They didn't have a single computer back then. They didn't have anything that was anything other than like mechanical. Like I would expect that they did like a pretty large flip book. I mean, even South Park even South Park in the 90s, what you had to do if you wanted to animate that was you had to have the cutouts of the mouths and stuff, and you had to just move them slightly or switch out the mouths or the facial expressions and stuff. South Park made a whole joke about that in one of their specials or one of their episodes where Stan and Kyle are trying to animate like a 30-second Christmas animation for the town's event or Christmas event or something, and it's like painfully slow. So they had to, so I mean, animation back then, it's not hard to figure out what that was. It was just drawing everything out in flipbook.
Yeah, but I mean, they've lost like the knowledge of how to do certain things, and it's mind-blowing that we can lose that in under 100 years.
That is a good, that is a good point.
Like, okay, what was it? ILM that does most of Disney's like special effects and whatnot. It's like, how did you guys get so shit?
Well, I imagine.
What's the hiring process?
I imagine that this is what DEI is. I bet. Like when people are like, I don't know what DEI is. Well, do you know why all the CGI in movies is shit? Because you keep hiring unqualified fucking people in Hollywood. Like you don't hire anyone with talent. Like all you have to do to prove it is just be like, yeah, I want to see your hiring policy. Publish it. Publish your hiring policy.
If you're black and you just claim to be gay, you can be hired anywhere.
You can be CEO. You can be CEO of everything.
You can be so fucking.
You can be the king. You can be the.
Maybe.
Long live the king.
Long live the king.
All right. Should we move on to other stories?
I think we should. Fuck this movie and fuck everything about it.
let's hold on. Let me jump out of here.
Let's go to the next thing though. You can be like, fuck this and fuck that.
You're right.
I tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits. Don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life.